All right, so here is a clip of Paul Ryan. This is back a little bit less than a year ago. It is important because he apparently is the vice presidential nominee. You wouldn't have known that from the debate the other night. And he is the guy who's brought on because he's the numbers guy. I'm a numbers guy, and that's why Mitt Romney picked me. I'm a numbers guy. I don't have the time to tell you what the numbers are. We don't have time to go into the numbers. There's so many numbers. There's an infinity number of numbers, and I don't have time to go through all the numbers. So here is his keynote address at the American Spectator's Robert L. Bartley Gala Dinner. And here's just a clip of it, because you remember how Mitt Romney says 47% of the American public, they're just teat suckers. They don't have any skin in the game. Well, Paul Ryan thinks it's just 30% who just don't believe in the American dream.
The point is, we are reaching a fiscal tipping point. The moral tipping point is even worse. And the moral tipping point is, before too long, we could become a society we were never, ever intended to be. We could become a society where the net majority of Americans are takers, not makers. Another great think tank, the Tax Foundation, runs lots of good numbers.
The majority of Americans could be takers, not makers. The Cornell Survey Research Institute in 2008 did a national survey, asked Americans whether they had ever taken advantage of any of 21 social policies provided by the federal government, from student loans to Medicare. It turned out that 96% have relied on the federal government to assist them. Young adults who are not yet eligible for many policies account for the most of the remaining 4%. The best part is most of them weren't even aware of it. And Republicans were that much less likely to admit or acknowledge. They're all Craig T. Nelsons in some form or another. You remember Craig T. Nelson? When I was a kid, we were on food stamps and welfare, and the government did nothing to help us out.
Those of you who know me, I'm kind of a numbers guy. 20% of Americans, according to the Tax Foundation, get 75% of their income from the federal government. They're dependent. Another 20% of Americans get 40% of their income from the federal government, so they're reliant. Today, 70% of Americans get more benefits from the federal government in dollar value than they pay back in taxes.
Those 20% that he talks up front, those are people who are seniors who are on Social Security. The 70% who get back more than they pay in taxes, I would say that number is probably closer to 96%. Because, of course, if I'm a Walton, let's say, and my entire business is predicated on having rolling warehouses, i.e. trucks, I am extremely reliant on the hundreds of millions upon millions of dollars that were spent on the highways, the U.S. highway system, in ways that are unimaginable to people like you and I.
So you could argue that we're already past that tipping point. The good news is, survey after survey, poll after poll, still shows that we are a center-right 70-30 country. 70% of Americans want the American dream. They believe in the American idea. Only 30% want the welfare state. What that tells us is at least half of those people who are currently in that category are there not of their wish or their will. They believe in that horizon that they're shooting for. They're down on their luck. They're out of their job. They're back at school. They want the American idea, and they want their kids to be better off. But slowly but surely, if we don't watch this, if we allow all this government that is being stacked up kick in, we will reach that moral tipping point. So why don't we just quickly review what government is up to these days?
So he's arguing here that those people who are getting assistance, but they still have a vision of the horizon, moral turpitude will bleed into them every time they get that unemployment insurance. Every time their kid is able to eat because of food stamps, moral turpitude, moral decay will creep in with every bite of that food. So yes, they'll be able to eat, but morally they'll be bankrupt inside. This is such a bizarre and fantastical and ridiculous argument, which incidentally, I can tell you, apparently turns out not to be based on numbers for such a numbers guy. There is no data that in any way suggests that you become morally corrupt if you get free lunch at school. I got news for you. My 7-year-old daughter, she doesn't have a clue where anything comes from. We teach her about spending and this and that. She doesn't know where I get my money. She knows I go to work. It's just absurd. It's insane.
I'll give you the Cliff Note version because this could go on for a while.
Yeah, there you go. In other words, and I guess he's been doing this for a while now, right? Because that's the same thing Romney said in the debate. This was a year ago. I'm not going to get into the details because I don't want to bore you, and they're not there.